off. So I'll do something about that. Maybe probably in the future I'll get a camera instead of using a phone to film when the morning comes. For now I can't afford a camera, so I just keep on using my phone. So when it goes off, I'll just wait for some time for it to cool off, then we'll come back again. So just that's one thing you have to have in mind. It might go off anytime we are filming, and when it does, we'll let it dry for, we'll let it cool down for some minutes, then we'll come back. So we'll be able to do one of the side panel. We've not done the zipper. These are the main body. So we are going to continue. Remember, we stopped at this point where we are trying to sew this zipper to this body. So that's where we stopped, and the phone just suddenly went off. I'm sorry for that, it's not intentional. So I'm just going to start at the point we stop. I'll back stitch there. So we'll get to the heading part of it. We are going to back stitch. I'm just going to trim this off. Just trim this part off. Okay. Then I'm going to be sewing to the. I want to line it now. Let me just bring this straight out. So if you want to sew your lining to your zip, so what you do is if you sew it like this, okay, you actually, this is the right side of the lining, right? You place it like this. I don't know if you can see it. So this is the right side of the lining. So you're going to place it on the wrong side of the zipper. Take note, okay? Sometimes it can be confusing. That's why I have to try it out first to make sure I'm doing the right thing. I don't know why my thread is always removing. So you're going to place your lining on the wrong side of the zipper. Take note. So just basically place your lining. This is the right side of the lining. So it's going to be placed on the wrong side of the zipper. Take note. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take the head of the zipper down. Not totally down. Oh. If you don't want your zip to go down totally, you can just sew on this severally so that your zipper will not go off accidentally. So I'm just going to take this. So you can see this zipper is getting squeezed. So you can also use your iron to iron it in place so it gets straightened. So I'm just going to sew. So now I'll extend this lining up. I don't want to put it the exact measurement with this, okay, because there's a possibility that when you are sewing, the lining will get stripped. So I'll just extend the lining up, okay. Then I'm going to sew. So when you are sewing, make sure you turn. So you are going to sew on the same stitch that you use to base your zip. All right, take note. So I'm going to sew on this same stitch. Okay, so let me just take this zipper up first. And so I'm just trying to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. Do not forget, it can be very confusing. The right side of the zipper is faced to the right side of the lining, whatever lining you are using. I'm using suede in this case, is faced to the wrong side of your zipper. So if you don't do it well, you are going to get a wrong result. So I have to just try that out to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. So now I will turn it because I want to sew on the same stitch. I've made a stitch here before, so I want to follow that stitch up. I want to sew on that same stitch. Okay, so if you actually notice, I cut the lining to be in excess. Okay, because there's a possibility that when you are sewing, if you cut the lining to be the exact size with the template, when you are sewing, the lining has a tendency to get streaked, and when it streaks, you streak like it becomes smaller, you might not be able to catch the lining. You just sew just on the external alone. So I'm just going to back stitch. So I'm basically sewing on the same stitch I used to base the line the zipper to the zipper panel. So now we are actually sewing all of these. We are sewing all of this to the lining. So we are making the zipper panel. That's what we are making now. The zipper panel for the waist bag. So this is the first one. We are going to be doing 2 of these. So put my needle down and move this up. I don't want this zip edge to prevent our sewing, to disturb it. So I'm just going to move it down. All right, so you can continue your sewing now. Bring this down and sew on that stitch. I'm just going to back stitch. Then I'll trim off. Just trim close to this. It's better if you cut your lining in excess. Okay, I said it before, if you cut your lining the same measurement with your external, so I'm not going to cut this one off because we are still going to use it. There's a tendency that the zip, by the time you are sewing this, the lining will get streaked or become smaller, and when you are sewing, you just catch just the external, excluding the lining part. So now that it's like this, I'm just going to bend it like this. Okay, we are going to be top stitching. I don't know if you can see. Don't worry, we're going to trim this part off later. So this eye is going to be, so this part, just bend it like this. So we are going to be top stitching all around it. Okay, so if it's fabric, you should have, if it was fabric, I would have ironed it just to make it stay lay wear. So because it's leather, you cannot iron it. So just take it gradually because this particular leather is kind of hard. All right, now I'm going to take some matching oil because we are using leather, so it's going to be, because this is not a working foot, so it might not be able to sew because the matching foot we are using is not a working foot. You just have to apply some matching oil for easy sewing. So we're going to top stitch. When you are top stitching, make sure you are pushing it in this direction so it will be easy for the machine to sew through, since you are not using a working foot. Because if you don't push, it will not move and you will have some issues. And another thing I'm trying to do, as I'm folding it to top stitch, I'm making sure that the width is equal in every area of the panel. So don't fold too much, so that, because you fold too much, if you notice, this becomes smaller and this becomes wider. So when you are folding, make sure that the measurement, the length or the width is all equal from the top to the down. So you just have to observe that. Okay, you just have to be very observant. So I'll apply some machine oil. So you see me, I'm trying to pull this way to make it easy for the machine to sew. Okay, especially when you're not using a working foot kind of machine. If you have a working foot, it becomes easy to sew on a leather. All right, this is not a working foot, so you just have to assist the machine. So because I applying more oil to make it easy to sew. If you don't apply oil, it's not going to move. So aside from applying machine oil, I'm also trying to assist the machine by pulling it in this direction. So I'm going to sew all around it. This part, you don't have to fold this part because it's a waist bag. Okay, it's going to be covered up, so you don't have to fold these edges. I'm going to apply some matching. Getting hard now. I will assist it. So any brand of machine can sew this type of, can do this kind of work. You don't have to have this kind of machine. If you have a cigar white head kind of machine, you can also make this kind of waist bag with any kind. It's a very simple work, and the interfacing we use there is not a very hard one. So, and I said before, you can also use your fusible flicks to interface. You don't have to use your leather board for the interface. Now, I'm going to be trimming. Okay, so we have one part of the zipper head done. So we are going to do the second part. So this is the part that is going to be coming to the waist bag like this. Okay, I'm going to do like 6 of this waist bag because I want to do it for someone. So it's going to be coming like this. All right, so we want to do the second part, and just the same way we did this, I'm going to take this one. So just zip up. So the right side of this is going to be faced to the right side of this. Okay, just like what we did before. So turn it like this, and also make sure that your this panel is equal, the edge are aligned. Okay, you can see I'm trying to ensure that the edges are aligned. So just going to break out my thread so it does not go inside. It seems my thread in the railer is actually getting finished because I can hear that sound. So I'm just going to use another railer here. And break out the thread on the inside and break it out and pull it. So now let's sew. Ensure that they are aligned. Okay, this one should be aligned to this. All right, so the right side of the zipper is faced to the right side of this panel. So we're just going to do sew. Back stitch first. Okay. So I'm just basically sewing a bit close to the zipper teeth, but don't sew too close, because when you sew too close, by the time you want to unzip and lock your bag or zip your bag, it becomes too tight and you won't be able to do that. Now I'm going to put my needle down, braid this up and move the zipper head down so it will be comfortable and convenient for me to sew. Then I'll continue the sewing. And when I get to the edge, just going to back stitch. Just the same way we line these parts. Okay, we are going to be lining this. So take note what you do. The right side of your lining should be on the right side, on the wrong side of your zip. Okay, all right, we want to line this just the same way we line this. The right side of your lining, this is the wrong side of your zip. I'm sorry, this is the wrong side of your zip. The right side of your lining should be on the wrong side of your zip, and I'm just going to turn it like this. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to sew on the same stitch that we used to base this to the zip. So just sew on the stitch. My needle down. The zip head is disturbing. I'll pull it up. I'll pull the zip head up so that it will be easy for me to sew. So now I'm going to top stitch just the same way we top stitch this. I'm going to top stitch. So I'm going to fold it. So when you are folding, make sure that the width from here to here for this part is equal to the width of this. Okay, you just have to take precaution when you are top stitching. So I'll apply some machine oil. Back stitch. Folding. if the zip head is disturbing you, just move it down. Okay, so I'm going to sew around it now to complete it. So when you're sewing, you're basically top stitching. Okay, we don't need the stitch to be too wide because we are still going to be sewing this to the main body of the bag. So you don't sew the stitches away from this. You can sew like 0.1 centimeter or a quarter. Okay, just to close it. Why is it not moving? I don't know. It seems to be stuck. It wasn't moving again. I can't tell the reason. Okay, seems to be something wrong with it. So I'm just going to try on a piece of fabric and see why it's not moving. It's not sewing. So these are some complications you encounter while sewing. So I want to see why it's not sewing. It's sewing here, so it's not sewing on the leather board. Let me see. Let me try again. Completed the cycle, just back stitching. So we are finally done with the sorry for the sun. Sorry, I'm so sorry for the sun. It's no light, so I'm using the sunlight. So I'm just going to trim. I don't know. Let me bring the cutting down. The sun is reflecting. I don't know if you can. I think it's better like this. So I just trim close. I don't know if you can see. I'm going to trim close to this. Okay, on bone off, you have the lighter here. Okay. Just trying to get some neat work. So my lighter is not here. You can burn those threads off. So this part is the part that is going to be coming to the top like this. Okay, so this is a waist bag, right? This is a waist bag. You can also use this method to get your laptop bag as well as your back bag. So once you know this method, it's almost the same thing. If you want to get your laptop bag, this is the same thing with this method I'm using for this waist bag. You also use the same method to get your laptop bag. Okay, so you have to learn this method. It's just the same thing. There's no difference. So this part is the part that is going to be coming on this, on it like this. So you just sew, then you bend it like this. okay, and you top stitch. We are going to be doing that, but let's try and do some other things first. So this is a waist bag, and I have my 2D ring. Okay, I have my 2D ring. So this D ring measure 1 inch. Okay, here to here measure 1 inch. So I've done this. So the fabric I'm using the same fabric with this. Okay, and the width of this is 2 inches, the length is 4 inches. So I folded the edge like this. I ironed it because it's an ashoke and it's hard, it's a bit hard. I ironed it to make it lay flat, and I ironed the part like this, and I folded this part, I ironed like this to hide the raw edges, and I iron this part like this. Then you take your D-ring, I just pass it through your D-ring. Okay, now before we use it on the bag, I'm just going to close, I'm just going to sew around it. Okay, I'm going to sew just like a triangular kind of stitch around it. Okay, so the thing is, when you want to sew, these parts are going to be too hard for it, so you can just trim this part off. Depend on the fabric you are using though. If you are using ashoke, you can do this. If you are using Ankara print is not as hard as ashoke print, so you can just trim this part out. If you are using Ankara print, you don't have to trim, but it won't be hard. So just going to sew. Clip it. Let me just bring it straight out. So you can use your double-sided tape, or you can also use your gum, so that you don't have any part sticking out like this. Okay. Get my lighter. Okay, basically we are going to be stopping here today. So I'm going to bond this with my lighter, and I'm going to be doing this offline. Then tomorrow we are going to be putting everything together. But now this is what we have. We have the top side, or the top gusset. We have the base gusset for the waist bag. We have the two body, okay, and we have this that is going to, this part with the D-ring, this is the part that is going to be holding your belt that you use to tie the waist bag to your body. Okay, it's going to be a very beautiful one. Tomorrow we have already prepared all of this. We are going to be putting them together tomorrow. Make sure you join the live tomorrow, and have a beautiful day. Bye.